What's going on, guys? It is JS here, back with another video. So today I am going to be talking about the chapter Out of Stock, and I have officially finished Fetch, but I haven't actually finished most of it because I haven't read the secret chapter. But honestly, I did read the very last chapter, or the last story in this book, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really action-packed. If I had to rank every single one of these, of these three, I would say Out of Stock, Fetch, then Lonely Freddy. Honestly, I enjoyed Out of Stock a little more because it was very action-packed and I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about this book today. So before we get on to anything, I just want to say there's going to be major spoilers ahead. So yeah, if you guys don't want to listen to any spoilers, go ahead and read it. But hey, if you want to listen to the video, go ahead. Yeah, let's get started. So the main character of this book, or this chapter, is Oscar. Now he is a 12-year-old that is a sophomore, and he has two friends called Raj and Isaac. So they're his two friends, and they basically just stay throughout this whole entire chapter. His mom works in a nursing home, and then a lot of the times Oscar will go there and help her out with her work. So Oscar has been non-stop talking about this plush trap chaser, which is think of Plush Trap from FNAF 4, right? Except that he's chasing you. I'm thinking just like a play thing, this some sort of toy that just wants to chase you around and just play with you. That's how I thought of a plush trap chaser would be. They're talking about how some of their friends already have one, and this plush trap chaser that they call it is from Freddy Fazbear World, or the Freddy Fazbear World, which I think that's what they call, I guess, the Freddy Fazbear merch during this period, or during this as the time, whenever they're talking about it, I'm pretty sure. They're planning on what they should do. Either they should go and sneak out of school, but they decide not to because they don't want to get in trouble with their parents, so they just all, plan that they're just gonna go to the mall right after school, and that's exactly what they do. Before Oscar is allowed to go to the mall, he has to help his mom out at the nursing home, and he goes to this guy called Mr. Devereaux, who's apparently been there for about 2 centuries. They say he's the longest living resident in the nursing home, and he tells Oscar, which I think is really cool, tells Oscar after basically Oscar tells him about the toy that he really wants, which is the plush trap chaser. He tells him that the reason for wanting is what lies underneath. It's a soil that feeds the want. And he also says to this, which I think is a really cool message, is sometimes you have to know when to go for it, even when it doesn't look possible, which I think is a really cool quote that I might actually save, because it feels like this quote has a lot more meaning, and hey, I might actually use this quote somewhere. So after, they have more of a chit chat, Oscar goes to the mall, even though it's his friends are already in line. He rushes to the mall immediately. So he gets over to the, I guess, toy store where the plush trap is, and he just sees there's this crowd of people, and I guess this toy really has a big demand because of how, I guess, good it is. So the rule that the, I guess, toy people have for, I guess, the people that want to buy it is only one limit, but this lady comes in, it's she has 5 nephews, and she basically wants to she has a lot of, nieces or nephews, something like that, and she gets really angry with them. It's okay, yeah, I have this amount of nieces or nephews, and you can't just do that, but the limit is only one person, which, I mean, it makes sense. But after, the assistant and I guess the lady does enough fighting, she goes ahead and buys one. So a couple people of later, Oscar, Raj, and Isaac go up to the cash register in order to get another plush trap, and they're yeah, sorry, it's sold out. So whenever the crowd heard that, they started like going really, really berserk. And I think this is where the action is like, so basically after, you know, they said it's sold out, it's just like it's like this pretty much. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like still here, but it's leaning to go up, which is, it's gonna get good. Oscar is just looking around to see if they have, you know, any plush traps still available, because they think that they are lying. They hear clerks like in like this back area, and they're just like, call police, what process returned, real human, is it, what manufacturer is this from, is this real, should we call the police, we're gonna call the police, something like that. But what Oscar was seeing when they were what they were talking about was as this: there, on top of a small workable, set a mango box that looked like it had been rescued from a trash compactor. Its cellophane window was dingy, with white crease marks spread like veins across the front. The corners of the box were soft and worn, but the top flap were held together by a fuzzy strip of packaging tape. But even though it was all damaged, Oscar could see a green head in his bulging eyes, a plush trap chaser. So it's really, really interesting. Whenever Oscar notices that the plush trap there is a plush trap chaser in still in stock, he goes up to this employer called Tanya, and he's just like, hey, there's like one plush trap in the back, and she's like, but that's too damaged. And he's just like, oh, it's fine, I don't really care if it's damaged. But she's like, it's defective. And he's like, you don't want that one. And he's like, okay, it's like, and they keep on arguing, and she's like, it's not for sale, okay? And he's just like wondering, it's like, what am I gonna do? What are we gonna do? And then Oscar like just like, okay, I had enough with this. Whether this is, you know, defective or not, I'm going to grab this plush trap. And he grabs it, and everyone's just like, stop the kid. And they just have, you know, this big old chase scene. And this is where, what I was talking about earlier, how it's like, you know, the action, it's like this now. It's like continued to increase, and this is why Out of Stock is my favorite chapter. So they have like this big chase scene. They go like all over the mall, and then to like this restroom doorway, and then it leads to the east entrance. And then once they get over there, they reach private property, and that's where they basically make their full escape. They get back to Oscar's house, and Oscar's like, yeah, technically it wasn't stealing, and his friends are like calling him an idiot, and it's just like, okay, so what now? So they decide to open it, and they keep on trying to open it. Like, they check its foot for like the on and off switch. They go on its back for batteries. They even replace the batteries as well. But what they didn't know was that on the box it says walks in the dark, freezes in the light. So it feels like that's like a FNAF situation, right? So they only are barely active in the night or in the light, and they're just, you know, doing their performance and all that, but they walk in the dark, which reminds me of the animatronics walking, you know, to kill the night guard, basically, which I think is really interesting. I tried to turn everything off, but it's not working, so they just like say screw it, and by that, and nothing really happens at all. So they just, Isaac and Raj they leave his house, and then his mom comes in from work and is like, hey, anything happened good at all today? And he was like, no, nothing really good has happened. Next day, Oscar, you know, wakes up and he goes to eat his breakfast, and then his mom's like, checking the newspaper and see what's happening, and she's like, there was an incident at the mall that just happened. And Oscar's like, I don't know, because he was there, and he was the one that was chased after, and he stole the plush trap toy. And he's just like, I don't know what's happening. She's like, okay, I'll trust you. So basically he just lied to his mom that even though he quote unquote didn't do it, he actually did do it. I forgot to mention earlier that the reason why people didn't, or the clerks didn't want them to purchase this specific plush trap was because it actually had human-like eyes and human-like teeth, you know, with like human-like teeth with actual like human gums. And that's just whenever I read that, I was like, no. Like, it was so hard to imagine because it was that terrifying to think about. They just say like, okay, we had enough of this, so Oscar decides to go to the auditorium where, or the mall where they got it from, and when they get there, it's like, it used to be like this auditorium area, but now it says Hal's Halloween Highway, and they're just like, wait, this should be the right place, right? And then when they asked the questions like, oh, where's the Emporium? She's like, I don't know. I just did an application. I just work here now. So they're just like, okay then. So basically, I guess they closed it down after that happened. But who knows? I get it really wasn't answered later on, but really, who knows what happened. Later, they get back to Oscar's house. They're just hanging around, and then Oscar, is continuing to try and figure out what to do with the plush trap chaser. Raj and Isaac, okay, like, dude, you need to stop messing with this thing. Just like let it go already. It's not gonna be, worth it later on. And he's just like, no, he just basically ignores them, and it's a call from his mom, and she's like, okay, hey sweetie, I know this sounds like a bad time, but can you please help me tomorrow, which the time during the book, the next day for them is Halloween. So he's like, oh mom, I can't go. But she's like, sweetie, but are you friends a little, old to be trick-or-treating? And they're just like, no. And they get like in this massive argument, it just blows up at his mom. He's like, okay, you know what? I stole it. I stole the plush trap, and I don't care that I did. And then all of a sudden, just the power goes out. And he's just like, okay, that was odd. Oscar decides after, he was talking to his mom, he decides to take Raj's phone charger, and he was just plugging in the charger, and all of a sudden, like, Oscar just like bounced back, like he was like from one side of the room, and then he just like flew to the other side of the room because of the impact, I guess, because of the lightning, because during that there's like a huge old thunderstorm that's going on. And his friends are like, oh, are you okay? Like, what happened? We just saw you soar across the hallway. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm sure. Oscar gets up to, flip up the light switch, and it's dead, which he's like, okay, yep, that's another thing to apologize to my mom for. And all of a sudden they hear, okay, this is where the action is, like, it's from, like, this first part, like the chase scene, it was like, and then it just like kind of slowed down a bit, and now this is where it's gonna be like go straight up. It gets really good. So they go to, like, they hear this noise that's inside Oscar's bedroom, and they're just like, okay, what's that sound? So they keep hearing it. They go up to his room, and it just gets louder and louder, and then all of a sudden see a hole inside of Oscar's doorway, and they're just like, wait, what just happened? Like, what was this? And they're like, okay, I thought you said this plush trap was broken. Like, dude, are you lying to us? And then plush trap was just, and they saw plush trap, and he was just standing like this, and then all of a sudden, like that, he just like started, running to Raj, Isaac, and Oscar, and they're just like, okay, run. So they get to the bathroom, or like the closest room to them, and they stand on the high surface that they go to, and they're just realized, like, okay, yeah, I remember, to deactivate this, just, flash a light at him, like, at his face. And, this is actually kind of reminding me of, like, FNAF 2, because, whenever you flash a light at an animatronic, like, for example, Foxy, he just, like, stops and doesn't do anything, like, and he just goes away. Make him stop just for a little bit, and while they're trying to get, another flashlight just to make sure plush trap stays exactly where he is. It's so, like, whenever I read this part, I thought this was absolutely crazy, because plush trap can mimic voices, which is really interesting. Like, I never, like, saw any of this in, like, any, like, FNAF games, or, the other books, like, the Silver Eyes or anything. I never knew an animatronic or something like that can mimic a human's voice, which I thought was really, really cool. While Oscar is, continuing to keep the flashlight on him, Raj and Isaac goes down to the, I believe, kitchen. I think that's what, yeah, I think it's a kitchen. And they try to dial, 911 because, like, it's not go and dial 911, but since the thunderstorm is going on, there's no service around them. So it's basically just up to them now to figure out what they need to do in order to stop this thing. I think they, are safe because the flashlights are still on. The flashlight battery dies out, and Plushtrap just straight up runs at them, and they try to figure out a way out. But then Oscar is like, okay, let's go to the garage to make sure that they are safe. Trying to decide on where they need to go in order to stop Plushtrap. Or just keeps, thinking of what to do, and he just realizes the train, because the train can easily, run over him to make him stop. They open the garage door to make sure they buy their time, in order for them to get out, and Plushtrap just continues to, eat away, like bite with his teeth in order to, get through to Oscar, Isaac, and Raj. So they keep pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, and they finally get to the train track. Now, what their plan is that they're planning for Plushtrap to, go down to where the train track is, and the boys get off of it, and the train, they're hoping that the train will run over Plushtrap, if that makes sense. So, the boys stand there, Plushtrap runs towards them, the boys get off, and then the train hits Plushtrap, and that's what they're basically planning. So Oscar is like, guys, get off, he's coming closer, and they're just like, no, dude, you need to come with us, and it's like, oh, no, I got this. So Raj and Isaac get off, and then Oscar just stays there and waits for Plushtrap to go and get him. But he remembers what Mr. Devereaux said, and he said, sometimes you have to know when to go for it, even when it doesn't look possible. So as soon as Plushtrap gets over there, he remembers what he says, and then he just straights out, jumps, and then the train hits Plushtrap, destroying him. And then after that, Oscar's like, did I die? And it's like, honestly, and then Raj was like, I don't know how, but no, you didn't die. And then Isaac, straight out throughout this whole entire chapter, he's like, you're an idiot. And then Oscar said, I know. And then they walk up to Plushtrap, and they just see him absolutely destroyed, and it is described as this. There, twisted and flattened in the concrete ties and hardened soil lay the remains of one Plushtrap chaser, a light-activated chomping green rabbit, and no longer Oscar's favorite character from the Freddy Fazbear world. Dark green fur floated in clouds around the smashed rabbit, while other clubs stuck with grease to the rail ties. Tiny ragged pieces of teeth shone under the newly uncovered moon. The clouds finally parting after it was already too late to help. Bits of bloody human gum were attached to the teeth. Oscar swallowed down bile and shifted his gaze. So, good thing is that they destroyed Plushtrap, and he's no longer a dangerous type of toy. The next day is just a normal day for Oscar, and on Halloween, he's just giving candy to the residents, and he makes up with his mom, and it's absolutely amazing, and they hug it out. And they just basically apologized to each other and forgot about everything that happened. And yeah, that is the end of the book. That is actually the end of the book. Honestly, I really loved this. It was a really bittersweet ending, and it was a good ending, and I absolutely loved it. And that is why this is my favorite chapter in this book, and honestly, it was really great. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. Next video will be coming Sunday, and I'm very, very excited. So I hope you guys to see you there. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, make sure to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.